Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hey, it's a great day. I'm Mark Imperial. My next guest is here to discuss his recent book release, 1 Second Math, Homework Help on Demand. He's an author, entrepreneur, and business automation expert. He created the wildly successful math tutoring website, MathCelebrity.com. The website gets over 300,000 monthly visitors in 30 different countries around the world. Please welcome to the show, President and founder of MathCelebrity, Don Sevcik. Don, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Mark. Great to be here.
Before we dive in, who did you write this book for? Who should read this book?
I wrote this book for two groups of people. The first one is parents who want to learn more about how we built the Math Celebrity website, as well as how we help students. And the second group is entrepreneurs. So I'm looking to target entrepreneurs interested in learning real-world applications for building a business, and particularly how to automate your business in ways you never thought possible.
Great. Let's dive in then. Tell us about the book. Why did you write it?
People we meet through the website asked us how we got started, how we built the website, and what our story was. So I figured it was time to put my story on paper. Instead of keeping a perception of some robotic website that solves math problems, I wanted to give the human side of my story and put a face and a personality behind the website that people use every day. And so while many people know the website, they don't really know the person behind it, how it was started, or really what makes it tick. I've been asked many times about the topics we cover in the book, and so I figured I'd put it all down on paper. Another reason I wrote the book is I'm turning our focus more towards parents, so I want them to know who built the website, why I built the website, and who they are buying from. Because in this day and age, people buy people more than people buy products. And another reason I wrote the book was empathy towards entrepreneurs. So the things that you go through, what it takes to start and maintain a profitable business, and how to juggle this while you're working a day job. So the book is split into two parts. Part one is my story, my motivation, and how I built the business. It's everything it took behind the last 9 years to build a website that solves math problems automatically. So it's the highs, the lows, and the things I learned. The second part is a math book. It's full of shortcuts, tips, and tricks. I made sure the math book got right to the point, fluff-free. So these are all formulas and things you're going to use basically from second grade all the way through college. The math covered in the second half of the book is extensive. In theory, a student could buy this book in second grade and use the concepts and notes all the way through college.
Describe for me the significance of the book title, 1 Second Math. How did you come up with the title?
In the introduction of the book, I talk about the blinking of the human eye. Now, when you blink, from the time it takes your eyelids to open and shut is approximately 1/3 of 1 second. Why is this significant? Well, this is the exact time it takes on our website for a student to run a math problem and the step-by-step work to be displayed on the screen in front of you. I rounded the time up to a full second because people understand whole numbers, and that's how the phrase 1 second math stuck, because it's exactly what Math Celebrity does. It solves your problems in less than 1 second. One of the things I take pride in our website and our business is speed. Students are very busy these days, and so the more time you save them, the more valuable you position yourself. There's also an ancillary meaning behind the title as well. It's a nod to working parents. Working parents these days have hectic schedules, and they have children with many activities. So I think of it as a wink. Since I'm also a parent, this wink signifies I understand you, I know what you're going through, and I'm here to help. I hear parents wishing for more hours in a day, and some of those hours are spent with their children, trying to make sense of and finish math homework. 1 Second Math is a vision for the future, where parents can let their kids use the website and answer questions when needed. 1 Second Math frees up a parent's time as well as relieving stress. Part of my grand vision is mom relaxing after a long day of work, or dad taking a hard-earned break, and during this time, their children learn and complete their homework in record time. This is my vision for the future. Now, in the book, I talk about the doorway to the heart of a parent is through their watch. What do I mean by that? Specifically, to rewind the hour and minute hands on their watch by giving them more time throughout the day. This is a Math Celebrity website specialty. I want to give parents time back while simultaneously helping their kids learn better and faster. You want to know how to make mom smile? Give her back 60 minutes in her day. You want to wow dad? Have his child get good grades in math without forking over astronomical amounts of money and time.
For our listeners who don't know about Math Celebrity, tell us a bit about the website.
Math Celebrity is an automated online math tutor, and you could think of it as a Google for math. Well, you enter your math problem or your search term, you press the button, and every step-by-step work appears instantly. And just like the beginning of this interview, you can blink, and by the time your eyelid opens and shuts, the math work is there for you on the screen. The work behind the answer is organized in such a way where anybody can follow it and understand it. Now, we cover second grade all the way through college. We are a supplement to the curriculum you see in schools. If you've ever seen the Staples Easy Button commercials where you push the button and your problems get solved, that is us, but with math. You can also think of us as a digital tutor. We have no constraints on business hours. You don't need to drive and schedule a tutoring session, and you'll never have a session canceled due to inclement weather. We're just like Google, and our little search box is always there, ready to help you when you need it.
In the early chapters, you talk about the spark for the idea behind the website. Tell us more about that.
In 2007, I worked in a pretty boring tech job. And so the book opens up in one of those mundane meetings typical in a corporate setting. I got tired of the corporate process and the lack of a meritocracy. In the book, I call this chasing the carrot. So chasing the carrot's where a boss dangles a carrot in front of you, and the carrot represents your raise. You chase and chase, but you never quite get there. The marker's always moved just out of your reach. Anyway, to branch out and earn more money, I started math tutoring on the side. And over time, one client grew into two grew into four, and it expanded from there. I started running out of hours in my day to serve anybody else. I didn't want to give up math tutoring, but I also couldn't abandon my day job at the time. So this part of the book explains how I turned frustration into motivation. I think this part of the book will resonate well with the target audience. This audience contains anybody who works a corporate job and has ever found themselves frustrated with their review process. At the same time, this person dreams of starting their own business where they're rewarded based on merit. I like to call this the alternate universe. In this universe, you're free from corporate politics and silly annual reviews. The money you earn is yours, and you're limitless in how much you can earn. Now, the other piece in the motivation is through a mission. At many day jobs you work, you'll find yourself doing busy work or doing work which really doesn't lead to helping the cause. In essence, you're a number in a mechanical position, and many times it's demoralizing and demotivational. On the other hand, when you find something you truly love doing on the side without a corporate structure, something magical happens. At the risk of sounding cheesy, it's a spiritual awakening. You feel a profound difference from wasting away sitting in a cube farm. For me, to hear a parent tell you that their kids got better grades in less time makes your day. To hear mom and dad tell you they save 4 hours or more a week for math homework is life-changing. A few of these emails and phone calls was all it took to understand my role. It's a feeling which is tough to quantify at first. As I started building the website in mid-2007, I felt it. It was hard to explain at first, but it was there. You can't touch it, taste it, or smell it, but it's there all the time. It's almost like a slow, constant rumble. It got louder the rest of the year when I first started the website. It's almost like the universe screaming at you, telling you to do what you were supposed to be doing and stop it wasting time on other busy work. I'll leave it to a movie scene to sum up what I felt perfectly. The movie's Tropic Thunder with Tom Cruise. He gets a bold idea, a vision. He pauses dramatically, lowers his voice to a whisper and says, "The universe is talking to us right now. You just gotta listen." The first time I really understand what I felt was in August 2007. I plugged away for 10 hours in my basement on a day off from work, and 10 hours went by like 10 minutes. I wasn't tired, I wasn't bored, I wasn't distracted. I had a clear goal. It never felt like work. It was fun. Not easy, but fun. And mind you, this feeling preceded any feedback parents ever gave me. Once parental feedback came in, I felt bulletproof. All bets were off. I knew after that 10-hour day in 2007 what I had to do. Build this website up to be the fastest and most efficient math tutor and take it as far as I possibly could.
How difficult was it to build a website that solves math problems? Were you always a programmer? Did this come naturally, or did you learn as you went?
Well, the good news is I had programming experience prior to starting Math Celebrity, but the bad news, I had zero experience in building websites. This was my first big challenge. I walked through the learning process in the early chapters of the book. To begin, I hired a friend to teach me some basics in web programming. And once I got the basics down, I started with one simple lesson, adding two numbers together. I remember back in 2007, I spent near an entire day working on this. When I first got the lesson to finally work, it felt like winning the Olympics. To push a button and watch all the math work appear on the page instantly gave me a rush. This was the first time I saw my dream of math tutoring without having to be there, be quantified on a computer screen. Now, I'd be able to scale and be millions of places at once. I could help people in other countries far away who I'd probably never meet in person. This dream turned into excitement, and this excitement turned into momentum. I took this momentum and I started to build more basic math calculators. Once I finished those, I went through math books in my basement and I attempted more difficult math. Some examples are algebra, statistics, and calculus.
Talk about the growth and evolution of the website. Did it take off, or was growth more gradual?
For the first 18 months, visitors trickled in. I think after 18 months or so, we consistently averaged about 20 to 30 people on the website each day. I mean, that's nothing to write home about, but it was positive momentum nonetheless. Now, I'm a big believer in Kaizen. If you don't know Kaizen, it's small, constant improvements each and every day. Even if it's 1% a day, it starts to add up. So as our small gains continued, I think it was 4 years after the 2007 debut, we had a few days where we started getting 1,000 people per day on the website. 2013 and 2014 began our climb from slow linear growth to more of an exponential gain. And coincidentally, it was around this time where I had the biggest breakthrough on the website imaginable. What happened was I learned the ability to recognize math problems entered directly in a search box. You see, before this time, people had to enter a search term, like equation or division. And this was kind of inefficient. They'd scroll through the search results, pick their calculator, and then they'd enter their problem. Yet once people entered math problems directly, it was a difficult, but it was a massive transformation for our website. Once we added pattern recognition, we made our turning point. We turned from a decent website into a major player in the educational technology space. And this year, just last month, we cracked 300,000 visitors in a month, and we're growing consistently at a 10% clip each month. But how did this start? Well, it started with a ticketing system I set up. So over the years, this report sits in the background on my website, and all it does is watch for people running problems. You could think of this as an employee who never sleeps. They're always out there watching and learning. Now, when somebody runs a search term or a problem on our website that our website doesn't recognize, this ticket system notifies me each day. Every morning, I review this report and I build the missing search terms. This strategy worked well for years for me. However, one morning I glanced at the ticket report and I noticed somebody ran an actual problem, not a search term. The first problem I ever saw was 2x minus 9 equals 31. Over the next few days, I saw more operation problems, such as 95 plus 21. I still remember this day like yesterday. I mean, my jaw dropped. I knew this was our chance to go from good to something special. However, I never worked with or read about pattern recognition. I remember asking myself, is this possible? How much work is involved? Is this level of difficulty over my head? So I turned to one of my personality flaws, which is stubbornness, and this time I used it to my advantage. I like to think of automation as the intersection of laziness and stubbornness. Anyway, I plowed ahead and researched for 2 days straight, and I eventually found my answer by studying language patterns and linguistics.
Once you discovered language patterns, how are you able to use this to handle math problems on the search engine?
I had my first big breakthrough shortly after my research session. So I scampered down to my basement and I started listing out basic math problems on paper. So take adding two numbers, subtracting two numbers, etc. To drill this into my head, I listed out 25 problems on a piece of paper, and I just stared at it. I locked the doors, turned off my phone, shut off my computer, and I just stared at that paper. But after 5 minutes, it hit me. How? Well, there's a great example related to this book in a book called On Intelligence. And On Intelligence summarizes automatic pattern recognition beautifully. How does it work? Well, imagine you're driving your car down the road and your attention's suddenly diverted somewhere other than right in front of you. For whatever reason, you're momentarily distracted and you're not paying attention to the road. Now, as you drive, you notice out of the corner of your eye a faint red octagon shape with blurry white lettering in the middle. It's getting closer and closer out of the corner of your eye while you're distracted. What happens next? Your foot instinctively presses on the brake pedal. Now, why did you do that? You're not looking at the road and you're not looking at the sign. It's an unconscious move, so why did it happen? Well, the On Intelligence book explains this beautifully. You see, your brain stored the image, shape, and layout of the stop sign from previous driving sessions. It also associated the sign with the side of the road and you being in your car. So what happened is your mind stored this event and recalled it while you were driving. To summarize, your brain relates the road to the red octagon pattern, to white lettering in the middle, sitting at the side of the road near an intersection. Now, even if the details are not crystal clear, all the basic signs are there. In addition, the stop sign pattern does not change. The pattern is the same now as it was 40 years ago. It doesn't change. Now, here comes the best part. Neither do the patterns of math problems. They share unique traits which you can pick up and identify. So I want you to think about a two-number math operation. It's a number, a sign, such as plus, minus, a star for multiplication, followed by another number. Now, the beauty of this is the numbers can be any positive number, and the operation signs are limited to just 4. So this represented my first breakthrough to automate the solving of math problems. And once I made this connection, I was able to build basic pattern matching.
Fascinating. After figuring out patterns, then did the website take off?
Yes. This transformed our website and started our quantum leap, both in traffic and coverage of math problems. There was a distinct feeling I remember. It's almost unexplainable. And when I got the first pattern to work, I called a friend of mine to test it on the website. When it worked for them, I got out of my chair, ran around my house, and I just went crazy. There's certain moments in your business where you make large leaps, and this was our biggest leap by far. I can look back to this point in time where traffic exploded, our mentions grew, and people started taking us seriously. The math problem pattern change made the user experience simple. Now, everybody understands Google, for example. What is Google? Mm-hmm. It's a little rectangular search box, and that search box gets you everything you need. With the pattern recognition change, our search box became our gold mine. The users loved it, and it required no thinking because it removed barriers. You wouldn't find any stuffy professor pontificating about math theory. There wasn't a tutor who was half asleep when you needed them most. With MathCelebrity, you get a small rectangular search box, and all you do is ask the search box what you need, and we give you everything we know in the blink of an eye. Notice I said simply, as in simplify. The best businesses we know today simplify things. Think of Apple's iPhone home button, Google's search box, Netflix easy ordering of video, or Amazon's upsell process. They make the incredibly difficult look easy, and that's what I think we do best.
As you built out the website, did you run into any challenges?
Yes. One massive challenge I ran into during the pattern recognition building is understanding the different search requests people entered for their problems. So around this time, there were thousands. Some days, it felt like I was drowning. Sometimes it just felt overwhelming. I wanted to give up. Even though I built pattern recognition every day, sometimes for 10 plus hours, I felt like I didn't make any significant headway during the first few months. I mean, it almost felt like I was taking 2 steps backward, 2 steps forward, and 3 steps back. Eventually, I ran out of gas. I needed a break. So my family and I packed up and we went to Phoenix, Arizona for a vacation. Now, little did I know this vacation would give me another breakthrough. Life has a way of showing you irony, giving you answers in places you never thought to look. Now, one of the days we were on vacation, we took a trip up north of Phoenix to a little town called Sedona. While hiking through the mountains, I found the answer to my pattern recognition problem, and the red rock formations and trees of Sedona. I wasn't even looking for it, but on the trail it came to me. Mother Nature taught me about human nature. What I found in those rock formations and trees, I talk more about in the book, but the concept helped me make the breakthrough I needed.
We're discussing programming, which is one of the subjects you cover in the book. Some of the chapters cover pattern recognition and artificial intelligence. How will the average reader understand this?
One of the important things while I wrote this book was simplicity for the reader. So I wrote this book for people who know little to nothing about programming. I wrote it in a way where anybody can understand it. One of the stories I tell about programming and the structure of the website is related to a restaurant. Now think of the restaurant having a hostess, a waiter, and a serving station. I also talk about programming in terms of seashells and tree branches. This part of the book was crucial to explain my story to non-programmers. To get this right, I had 2 non-programmers read the book. So these people knew nothing about programming. Now my goal was to get them to read through the entire book without stopping or getting stumped. If they stopped at any part, I rewrote that part of the book and I had them read it again. And with that process, we rinsed and repeated it until they were able to read through the whole book without any questions. So the goal of this was for non-programmers to come away from this book understanding how I do what I do at a non-technical level. No matter if you're a working parent, somebody just starting in programming, or somebody who wants to learn how code turns human language into a search, this book explains it in simple terms. Now, my number one goal with this book, especially the technical part behind the website, was crystal clear clarity. I want an 8th grader to read this and understand it on the first try. Now, I think this book speaks to anybody who has a website. I talk about the changes we made, things that worked, and things that did not work. I turn technical concepts into everyday things in life. People from all walks of life will understand.
In the book, you talk about how people could not believe the concept of a search box answering math problems. How did you manage that?
It's funny, when we met people at conferences, it took them a minute for them to process. They'd ask me, is there somebody on the other end of this website answering these problems? We'd laugh and tell them a robot is solving it, an algorithm. And this algorithm gets smarter and stronger every day. Now, for people who don't know this term algorithm, it's basically a glorified word for a logical process. The simplest version to think of is a recipe. So I want you to think of a cake. Take 3 eggs, mix 2 cups of flour, add 2 cups of milk, bake at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. That's an algorithm simplified. So MathCelebrity does the exact same thing behind the scenes. And what we do is we identify the type of problem you want, and then we direct you to the correct place which solves those problems. Now, the second part of this process is building trust. One great story comes to mind about trust. Fire, water, and trust are walking along in the forest. And one of them says, well, what happens if we get lost? How will we find each other? Well, fire says, just look for the smoke and you'll know where to find me. Water says, just look for the green grass and flowers. You'll know where to find me. And trust says, you better not lose me, because if you do, you'll never find me again. And so this concept stuck with me over the years. In the digital world, we have mere seconds to establish both trust and credibility. When a person lands on our website for the first time and runs a problem, I want to make sure it runs quickly with easy to follow detail. I think of this as the handshake to the beginning of a future relationship. If my website gets this wrong in any way, I can kiss any possibility of a future relationship goodbye. So the first problem or search ran on our site is crucial. Now, as they run more problems and more searches, we gain a relationship. Because I'm not looking for a one-time visit. I'm looking for parents with kids who need help for the next few years. I'm talking about being their math tutor from diapers to diplomas. Now, we met some people at conferences who said, I could see my kids using this for the next 6 years. This is how I want to build relationships. And it's no different than the reliable plumber you call when you have a leak. It's no different than the dentist who always gets your teeth perfect for the last 30 years. I want to be the math tutor you choose without even thinking. And to do this, I have to make the search box the go-to place for math tutoring. It has to be easy, it has to be right, and it has to be fast. Now, the parents who get us and get the concept realize how we will be the learning supplement for their kids for years to come. No matter what subject or concept they need help with, all roads lead back to the search box. Now, we want to be for math what Google is for regular searches. We want to be reliable and we want to be quick. No matter what kind of tough times you experience with math, I want students and parents to take comfort knowing our search box is there for them. If math gives you a headache, I want MathCelebrity to be your aspirin.
The book also talks about personalizing relationships more. One of the things you did was build a forum. How does the forum work with the website?
The forum fosters a sense of belonging. Now, the search engine is great, but it's robotic. And sometimes people have questions above and beyond the search engine. So one example is long-form word problems. I created the forum so people could post these problems, generate a discussion, and see me active in the forum answering questions. Now, the forum also shows other questions which people ask. Unlike the website where Jane Doe can't see what John Doe is doing, the forum shows questions asked publicly. So one of the benefits of this is other people get to see various struggles in math from other people. Now, human nature dictates curiosity, as in what are other people doing? This is important for other people. What are other people talking about or asking about? And the forum accomplishes all of these tasks.
Staying on the topic of personalization, you talk about the Homework Mastermind group. Tell us more about that.
So the Homework Mastermind group is pretty recent. As we've built up the website and established relationships with our fans, I've learned certain people need reassurance. And so I'm talking about reassurance above and beyond the reassurance and tutoring they receive from our website. Sometimes people need a guide. Think of it as a coach, if you will. This led to the creation of the Homework Mastermind. Masterminds, of course, go back to the days of Napoleon Hill from the Think and Grow Rich book. You see, there's power in numbers. So what I did is I structured the mastermind and limited it to a small group. What you get with the mastermind is access to me at any time. If you need help with homework, if you're struggling with concepts, you can call, text, or Skype me, and I will get it worked out for you. Now, I just introduced this service recently, and I think it's important for people who really need help and reassurance. I like to think of it as a mathematical guardian angel. It's somebody who watches over you and is there when you need math help. I believe mentors are important from the time you're in school to the workforce and beyond. Learning is accelerated through masterminds, and what's not to love about that?
Don, you go into detail in the book about the job market and present an interesting point about the importance of math, even if you aren't a math major. How do you see math relating to the real world?
Well, first, let's ask ourselves, what is math? Math is really problem solving. And no matter what field you choose, finance, technology, art, literature, problem solving is universal. And this is why I stress the value of learning problem solving in any math class you take. Because even if you're not a math major, you often hear people asking, but how does math relate to the real world? And when will I ever use this? People are surprised when I tell them the field math is actually utilized in. Actuarial science, sports statistics, the stock market, video game development. The kids really love that one.
Yeah.
And online shopping. I've given speeches at a few schools, and kids are shocked to learn about math and vectors being used for Xbox Live. As soon as you tell them about math being used in video games, they perk right up.
I'll bet.
And just when they think they've heard it all, you tell them that Google's incorrect spelling search uses math. So does Amazon's upsell function. You know the one. Customers who bought X also bought Y. So when you incorporate these kind of events and explain the math behind them, the kids and even some parents start getting interested. In the real world, more important than math is the benefit of problem solving. And even more important than that is speed. Now, why do I emphasize speed? Because learning speed and deadlines don't move. So if you're working with clients want work by a certain time. If you're an entrepreneur, the market moves faster each year. And many companies release what is called a minimum viable product. If it sells and gains interest, the company improves it and make the product better. If the product fails, the company scraps it and they start over on something new.
Speaking of math, a big conversation going on in America right now is Common Core. Do you address this on your website and in 1 Second Math?
Yes, I devoted an entire chapter in the book to Common Core. So first, we covered Common Core on the website. And what happened is, a few years back, parents requested Common Core. Parents across the country universally banded together and formed a united front against Common Core. The website shows both the traditional and Common Core method to solve a problem, if one exists. Now, regarding Common Core in general, I talk about this in the book. I think you'll find it's one of the most polarizing subjects in this country in the last few decades. I rank it up there with politics and religion on the conversational polarity scale. Now, I want to give my personal stance. So long as a kid solves a problem correctly, who cares what method they use to get there? You see, in the real world where we have bosses, clients, and deadlines, what matters most is getting the job done right. More importantly, getting a high-quality job done on time. Now, I understand different people think different ways, and this is the problem with forcing kids to use Common Core. Problem solving is a journey. There isn't one unique path. I don't know where future legislation and politics will lead, but I do know we should not force a certain problem-solving method on anybody. I believe it stifles creativity. Now, Einstein's quote comes to mind. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid.
Let's switch gears for a moment and discuss new features. I noticed you also offer exam certifications. This is far different from math. Can you tell us how this came about?
Yeah, so a few years back, I needed to get certified for my day job in Google Analytics. Coincidentally, around this time, a parent of a student on Math Celebrity mentioned they were getting certified for marketing. So I took the test, passed it on the first try, and I had a collection of notes with me after the exam. And what I found is a lot of people online were looking for help. Now, even though it has nothing to do with math, it's learning. So I got an idea. Why not add these certifications to the Math Celebrity website? So I added the first exam, and I submitted it to the Google search engine. And what's amazing is within 24 hours, I had 5 leads and 3 customers. And what did they do next? They started asking for more exams. So I added 2 more, and that's when the party really started. People asked for more exams and more exams. Soon after, I added a feature which differentiated us from any other study program out there, instant search. So I borrowed this idea from the math problems on our website. And so the way it works is you type your question or answer for the exam certification, and our list filters immediately. And now how does this help you? Well, it saves you 5 to 7 seconds per question, and this starts to add up. It removes frustration and gets you what you need instantly. And another benefit I added to differentiate us was a source link for an answer. So what's a source link? Well, when you're in the middle of the exam and you want to find where the answer was, it acts like a dynamic study guide. So when people pass the exam, they like to read into the concepts more. What the source links do is show them exactly how we found a correct answer, and it cuts down their study time significantly. It also respects our principle of speed. We live in an age right now of people with no patience. They want things right now. They don't want to wait around. So fans responded positively to this, and so we continued to add more exams. Now, I've thought about how exam certifications are not math, and so what I might do down the road is split this service off into a separate website and brand. I think this makes the most sense. But for now, I have it on the Math Celebrity website under the Math Celebrity brand.
What were some of the challenges in building the website itself? The book speaks to entrepreneurs, so what message can you deliver to aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to start or just started a business?
The first lesson is manage your time. So find what works and you do more of that. Next, find what doesn't work, and if you cannot improve that or it doesn't show a return on investment, don't beat yourself up about it. Just discard it and move on. One of the hardest things to correct in human nature is admitting when you are wrong. This is step 1. Step 2 is focus on what grows your business. You see, what I learned is too often startup businesses and small businesses get too involved in the minutia and the day-to-day drudgery, and they ignore strategy. What should happen is the opposite. So once a week, go somewhere and give yourself time to think. Take a walk, just collect your thoughts, get away from the office. Some things to think about that always help. How are we going to get new customers? What is the end game of your business? Do you just want to make income? Are you looking to attract investors? Or do you want to package up your business and sell it off someday? These are important questions any business owner needs to ask themselves during these strategy sessions. There's a story making the rounds right now about Dave Thomas. Dave is the founder of Wendy's, if you don't know who he is. When he came in to speak to employees after a few minutes of small talk and catching up, he would always ask, no matter what department he spoke to, the same question: what are we doing to increase sales? Now, this story always hit me because it's easy to get distracted or get comfortable in the day-to-day parts of your business. But to truly help customers, this question is key. Another question to ask yourself is this the best use of my time right now? I find when you ask yourself these tough questions, it helps you focus and it helps you grow. Now, the other piece which helps you is automation. One of the things I try to do in my business is automate everything possible. Not only does it save you time, but it removes hassle. Now, one of the things I specialize in is automating things people do not think about. So when you get all the pieces together, you're able to automate relational parts in your business as well. A couple examples. When you acquire a lead via automation, you nurture this lead using automated email, text, and social media posts and chat messaging. Next, take the customer from a nurture sequence to a sale using full automation. After the initial sale, you set up a process for upsells or future sales. And after that, automate the testimonial and customer-generated content process. So if you make a sale, you want to set up something on your website that automatically sends your new customer a testimonial request. Finally, automate the posting of these testimonials to social media in your network. So when you get a new testimonial that brags about your business, you set up some sort of system or buy software which automatically posts to all your social networks. And then when you're done, you get the new lead to be a referral and you start the process all over again.
So give us the status report then, Don. How are things going now?
Things are going great. We just passed 300,000 monthly visitors in December of 2016. My goal is to grow to 500,000 within the next year. So one of the things we're seeing is people are staying on the website longer. We add more material every day, and this is keeping people engaged more and more. We're breaking all of our traffic records, both daily, weekly, monthly, and annually. We've got strong market share on Google, and we continue to grow. I'm trying to build a website to solve as many math problems as humanly possible. In one of the chapters in the book, I share many of my secrets on how to get free traffic for your website without spending a dime on Google. I find many business owners desperately want more traffic, and I know the secrets I give away in the book will help them achieve this. For the next steps, I'll probably add some courses, both math courses and programming courses. I've definitely got some interest from our fans on this.
To wrap things up, where can people find you?
On Twitter, my username's MathCelebrity, all one word. Same with Facebook. The website is MathCelebrity.com, spelled just like it sounds. And the 1 Second Math book is on Amazon and BookPub. And the full title is 1 Second Math, Homework Help on Demand. Now, I'm running a special offer from this interview. If you buy the book, I'm going to give you half off our premium monthly membership with proof of purchase. So the premium membership includes quiz generators, practice problem generators, and flashcards. Also, I'll give you a free consultation to anybody interested in learning more about our coaching group for math tutoring and our coaching group for entrepreneurs interested in building their business.
Don, this has been absolutely fascinating. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with our listeners today, and I wish you continued success and congratulate you on your success so far. Continued success for Math Celebrity, for you, and for all of your Math Celebrity subscribers and readers.
Thanks, Mark.
That wraps up another episode of the program. You've been listening to a fascinating discussion with Don Sevcik, president and founder of MathCelebrity.com and author of the book 1 Second Math, Homework Help on Demand. Until next time, I'm Mark Imperial. Have a remarkable week.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.